Good morning. Coffee and Parallax Football Complete. There is a free ebook version of this on the Google Drive, or you can purchase the black and white for $9.99 or the full color for $9.99. Very affordable options. This is a complete football simulator with certain conceits about the design. It is again, it is unique in this in how I view the game of football. It is designed for team creation and fictional teams, fictional play. However, there is a giant tome of every pro football team in history available, rated and ready to play for those who want to use historical teams with Parallax Football. Like all of my games, they're not designed to be replay games. They're not designed to give you a real historical. They're designed to give you competitions, but they're designed for. Well, it's hard to explain. They're designed to give you a competition between two teams. They're not designed to give you expected results. Okay, so you're going to want to go to traditional games that feature, for the most part, if you're looking for a replay experience, you want to use games that control out statistical results and expected outcomes based on their engine. Mine is about competing, setting up two entities that have ratings, and they compete to find out who's the best teams, as opposed to proving that the undefeated Patriots are an undefeated team. Does that mean this won't do that? Of course it will, but it won't produce expected results for everything. Okay, so anyway, I thought today we would actually do this kind of a tutorial, rules as written. The first thing I do is define the ratings, what the point of attack is, what running plays use, what passing plays use, what pass completions are, and the special teams matchups, the grade values. And team creation is very simple. You have 9 attributes. So we're going to make a couple of teams, and then we'll play a little bit. So I have 9 attributes, right, for team creation. That is, of course, passing, running, and receiving. And then on defense, it is going to be, and you've got to be aware of how this works. Defense is run stuff, linebackers, and coverage. And then, of course, there is punters, place kickers, and return men, right? So that's the 9 attributes. And you're going to either roll up randomly the amount of points that your team has to build your team, or you can select, if you don't want to gamble, you can select 27 points and apply those to your team. So you're guaranteed 27 points, but there's no chance that you're going to have a huge roll that would give you a powerhouse. But I'm going to roll because it's fun. And you're going to roll 8 dice, 8 six-sided dice. So we got 4 and 4. So part of my games, there's a couple of conceits of all of my sports games. First, I want the games to simulate competition between two things: boxers, boxers, football teams, hockey teams, whatever. Part of that, though, part of the game experience is creating the teams and the leagues before you even sit down to play the games. That's part of the game play, so to speak. And then where you go from there is entirely up to you, whether you continue careers with off-season stuff, or whether you just play out a handful of games, or whether you just make 4 teams to have a little tournament. That's entirely up to you, right? So we're going to roll how many points this team gets. And let's hope they are at least 27. Ooh, let's see here. Looks like we got 10, 18, 23, 25, 26, 27, 28. So again, the average is 27. You can choose not to gamble and take 27. This team happened to get 28. So is it worth the gamble? They got an extra point to play with. Okay, so now I have to assign values to my 9 components, right? I have a choice. I can, and it breaks down in here what the teams, an example team looks like. Because I have a sample league in this book somewhere. There they are. So the Toronto Tycoons are worth 25 points, and their top row is 7. Their defensive row is 12. Their special teams row is 6. So I know that this team has 28 points. So again, I will make note. I'm going to make a 1960 team. This team has 28 points. And now I got to be careful here not to make a mistake as I add these up. All right, so I want this team to be a great passing team. Let's look here. The values are very simple. All right, where am I at? An A value is 5 points. So 5. So I could have an A passing team. That's 5. An A running team. That's 10. And an A receiving team. That's 15. That would leave 13 points left for my other 6 attributes. Yeah, let's make this team an offensive powerhouse. We're going to have 5, so we're going to have A, and A, and that in parentheses here is 15 points. So I got 13 left to divide into 6. It's not great, right? Do we want to be good at something on defense? Let's see, I have 13 points left. Well, I know for a fact that F's are 1, so I got to have at least 3. If I make F's in 3 spots, right, that's 3 points. That leaves me 10 more. I'm going to go ahead and have a return game of F, and I'm going to have a punt game of F. That leaves me 11 points. I want my run stuff to be B. That leaves me with 8 points left. I want my linebackers to be 3. That's C. And then I want my coverage. God, dog, that means my place kicking is going to be F2. 15, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. I got 4 points left. Okay, so my coverage will be D. My place kicking will be D. So 7, 8, 9 is my second column. And 2, 3, 4 is my final column. That is 28 points. So we have an offensive powerhouse. They have a passing game of A, a running game of A, and a receiving game of A. Their run stuffing is solid B. Their linebackers are average. Their coverage is below average. Their punter is horrible. Their place kicker is below average. And their return man is suspect. So this team is going to be poor on special teams, okay on defense, but they should at least challenge defenses to step up. Let's give this team a name. Let's call this team I don't know. Let's go with the Cleveland Bulldogs. 1960 team, Parallax Football, so PFC. There we go. Right now, again, I can add names, rosters, players, whatever, but that's all you have to do to make a team and start playing. So we're going to set the Cleveland Bulldogs down here. I don't know if they're home or away yet. Okay, let's go ahead and make the next team. Again, we have a passing grade, running grade, receiving grade. We have a run stuff grade, linebacking unit, coverage unit. We have a punting unit, place kicking unit, and we have a return unit. Okay, this will be 1960. Don't know what their point total is yet. And again, I'm going to roll because it makes it fun. Wow, 5, 10, 15, 20, 3, 24. Well, they ended up losing 3 points. This team's going to be hurting PFC. Okay, well, 24 into 9 goes what? 24 divided by 9. That is 2.6, so not quite 3 per. So this is going to be a pretty average team, it looks like. All right, well, I'm going to give them an A in one at least. There's 5 of their points gone already. 24 minus 5. They got 19 left. We got to be able to do something well. Let's go ahead and pass at 9. At B. That's 4. So we got another 4 gone. We have 15 points left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Damn. We pass okay, so I hate to be other than average, so we're going to be at least average in receiving. A running is going to be an F. This is not a run team. So we got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So my first row is 8 of my 24. Second row is, my God, 8 plus 5, 13. We have 11 points left. Run stuff. It hurts because I'm a defensive guy. D and coverage D. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's still more defensive. 9. That's 17 points, correct? 8 plus 9. Yep. Minus 24. We have 7 points left. Okay, we're going to have a punting unit of F. We're going to have a place kicker of A. So we're going to have a fantastic place kicker. And we're going to have a return game of F for 7. So this team has got a good passing game, decent receivers, can't run the ball, not a great front 7, brilliant linebackers, not a great back 4, below average. Punter stinks, but their place kicker is fantastic. This will give them some field goals and extra points automatically, so they're going to, at least if they can be in field goal range or get touchdowns, they're going to score automatically. And their return man is F. Again, why do I design games like this? Because you're supposed to sit down with your friends and your buddies or your commissioner, and everybody gets to roll up and create their team. It's their baby, and then of course hand the games over to the commissioner. The commissioner plays this league out. That was the whole design intent of why I do it this way. You're free to build a team you believe in, and then basically hand it over to a commissioner or play them yourself, right? Which is what I'm going to do here. But all right, so we got the Cleveland Bulldogs. We're going to make this team the Orlando. Orlando Breakers. Why not? Okay. And there we go, folks. We've got 2 teams. Now let's determine who's home and away. So let's roll randomly Orlando. If it's odd, they're at home today. Nope. They are on the road. So Orlando is traveling up to the Cleveland Bulldogs. Now we want to play some football. So I've made 2 of the teams in my little universe, right? I always find it important to remind people of the design intent of my games, and sometimes I like to just pick up the books and do a quick kind of tutorial just to remind people of what they really were designed to be and do versus how you can use them. Obviously you can use them for historical replays, you can use them any way you choose, but I like to remind people of what they were actually are, right? What they are designed to be and do. All right, so we need some paper to have our own game now. So now we got to match them up, right? So we got Orlando at Cleveland. Okay, so we go back to the matchup book and we look at the rules. And again, I write out of the gate, in more than one position, I remind you of what you match up. So for point of attack, it's run versus run stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and do Orlando. Their POA is on the charts. Let's go back here to my POA matchup chart. One of the conceits of all of my games is I never allow you to use raw ratings, or I don't compartmentalize the games into either or. So like Stratomatic, it's either or. John Turnbull's games are either or. You'll notice all of my competitive games, you don't get that luxury. This team will be affected by this team and vice versa, and from start to finish. And so I match up, I blend. There's a guarantee that the Orlando Breakers, these ratings will rarely ever be raw. They will always be a result of the team they're facing. And most sports games, I think, completely get this wrong by making everything yes or no. And why do they do that? Because they can control the statistical expectations that the Patriots are going to, be really good when Tom Brady throws a pass to Randy Moss. But to do that, they have to guarantee that Randy Moss and Brady's plays cards come up enough that they are incredibly dangerous when they do. However, you have to randomize that and say, well, the defense gets to win once in a while, and then you roll the dice, a random variable. Oh, fortunately, the defense isn't on the short pass. It works because they control output, and then it meets your expectations as a fan of those teams in those seasons, but it's not competition, so to speak, right? That's my take. I've written a basic thesis on it more than once in private conversations. But my games, because conceit is we blend. You never get to be the A-rated team without the effect of the defense being involved. So the point of attack for Orlando is run F versus run stuff of B. So a very simple, this is going to come out in F, I'm pretty sure. So F versus B is D. How about that? So Orlando, who's a poor running game against the B run stuff, actually will be a POA of D. Okay, next up we have running plays, run versus linebacker. So our ability to run F versus their linebacker C. So we're actually going to run pretty good, even though we're an F team. So run F versus C is D. So Orlando is actually being bolstered by this defense. So run D. So that F is a D against against Cleveland. That's pretty good. All right, passing. Here we go. So next up, we're looking at passing, PA. Okay, our passing is B versus their coverage, D, right? Or excuse me, versus linebacker. Remember, passing is linebackers because that's the first read. The linebackers are closest to the quarterback, therefore they can impact play as linebackers, or in the sense that they can pressure a quarterback into making a decision, or they can drop into coverage affecting the quarterback. So why does my game say quarterbacks versus linebackers? I just told you, because linebackers are closer to the quarterback, but they are also potentially pressure or coverage. Down linemen are always pressure. See, so why aren't linemen against quarterback? Because linemen are ultimately facing the offensive line. So it's an abstraction. Linebackers could either come at the quarterback or they can drop into coverage, right? So linebackers would be the quarterback's first responsibility. Although in coaching, coaches always teach the quarterbacks whatever their rule scheme is, right? So some coaches say, I want you to always look that safety from this play. So it changes per play, right? There'll be a coach who tells you, hey, on this particular play scheme, I want you to look off that outside linebacker before you make that decision, right? Hey, I want you to, on this option, you need to read the end. If the end crashes, you need to pitch. If the end chases the back, you need to cut upfield. That's the option. The wishbone option play for the quarterback is a very simple read. What's the defensive end doing? Is he crashing you? Then you pitch it. If he's chasing the back or covering the back, you cut upfield on him, right? So there are rules that change per moment sometimes. But of course, in a tabletop game, I don't want this to take 6 hours. So we have to abstract a lot. Okay, so passing. B versus, again, their linebacker C. So B versus C is C. So their quarterback is reduced, but still he's average. That's not bad. And last but not least, their receiving. Again, receiving is easy. It's receivers versus coverage. So it's C versus D. So C versus D is C. So is C. So they're a better passing team today, and they should be. We have an F running game. So they pass average, they receive average. They're a little less than average at the point of attack and a little less than average running. All right, so place kicking. Our return man is F versus their punter F. So let's see here. Their punter is an F. Our return man is our punter is an F. Their return man's an F. So punts for them. And by the way, I'll put Cleveland over here. Their punter put it is 40. Okay. Oh no, our punter. Gee, many Christmas, Jay. Our punter's a 40. Now do it backwards. That ain't good. Well, actually, it's going to be the same. They're F2, so they're a 40. So we're good there. Place kicker. Our place kicker's an A. Their return man's an F, 13. So their average kick return. This is not good. Kickoff return for them is 13. That is horrific. That's going to be a huge advantage for Orlando. Well, maybe not. Their place kicker's a D. Our kick return man's an F, 21. So it's not a huge 8 yards, though, is going to add up over the course of the game. Cleveland is going to be starting every game inside their own 15. It's just, in this game, every possession. Okay. Their punter is an F. Our return man's an F. It's 40. So both of us punt on 40. Kick returns 40. So, and our place kicker is the raw grade. So here we do use the raw grade for place kicking. Their place kicker is a D. And Orlando is an A. All right, let's get Cleveland's numbers. Their POA, their run, their pass, and their reception. So their POA, they are a running team of A. And our run stop is D. Ooh, what do you imagine that's going to be? It's just a B, right? So it's not an A. That's good. So Orlando's defense has some effect, but not perfect. Right, so they will be a B, right? Run A versus our run stuff, D, right? A versus D is B. So we do reduce them, again, blended. We reduce them a little bit. All right, running. Their running is an A. Our linebackers are a D, right? So let's double check that. We'll make sure we do all this right. A running versus linebackers. So they are an A versus our A. A versus a C. So it reduces them quite a bit from an A to a C. But the receiving is an A versus our coverage of D. That is a B. So they definitely, and now the quarterbacks, an A versus our linebackers of A. Excuse me, I did that wrong. A versus D. Okay, good. And then their A versus A is C for their passer. Okay, so we are ready to play football now. Now, again, you have choices. You can automate play calling. You can call your plays. So this game is loaded with options. You can call plays head-to-head against a friend. You can use dice to determine offense and defensive weighted calls. Or you can call offense or use a die roll for offense, and you can leave defense 100% out, right? Or you can roll for defense, or you can call defense. If there is a defense effect, the chart effect is right here. But the game is designed where if you don't want to mess with defense at all or play and just want to call offensive plays, you can, right? If you want to roll dice for offense, you can, okay? So this game can be played in any feasible way, and you're still going to get very solid results. Okay, what we do want to do is decide what options we're going to use. Are we going to use POA? So the basic game says you don't even need to use POA, and you don't need to use receiving grade bonuses. I like point of attack myself, but I like to use the predetermined. So we're going to go to point of attack, and I'm going to roll before the game starts. So Orlando has a D chance. So there's be a chance that Orlando's offensive line is really strong that I'm going to roll, and that'll be their point of attack adjustment for the game. So you can roll this every snap. You can use you can use static, or you can ignore it, right? We're going to roll to set it for the game, and I won't roll again. But you could roll this every snap if you wanted to. 6, they're going to be -1. So their POA today is -1. So it could have been a +1 if they had a good day. So their offensive linemen today aren't going to be as good as they should be. Cleveland's looking at the B chart. They are going to be 0. So Cleveland, despite a 0 point of attack, a B point of attack, they're going to be a +0. So that tells me maybe the weather, maybe the turf here in Cleveland is chewed up. Not ideal for offensive linemen to get off the ball. So maybe it's mushy, wet today, right? Okay, so we've done that. Now, do we want to use the receiving grade bonus? It's very simple, right? there's two ways to use the receiving grade bonus. You can use the charts that's separated out by style of football, right? Oh, it's not in this book. Shoot, this is the very first. Okay, this was my proof book, so that is not in this version, I don't think. Okay, so we just need to use the base value, which is fair because the game was based on NFL football, or I should say pro football. So the base value is very simple. A C is +3 for Orlando, and the +4 for Cleveland. So Cleveland definitely, they both pass with the C charts. Cleveland has a bonus in their receptions of +4, and Orlando has +3. If you were making this a Canadian game, those numbers in the final book of this, there is a chart that tells you what you should do for arena football, Canadian ball, etc. for those values. Again, the basic game, you don't use point of attack, you don't use the RE bonus, right? You just use whatever they roll on the charts. That's the simplest way to play the game. It's just get your game grades and roll the dice. Okay, odd, Orlando wins the coin toss. Nope. So Cleveland's going to take the ball, right? We're going to have first quarter, and I'm just going to play 4 possession quarters. The game recommends 22. We're going to play a little faster today, so we're going to have 4. It's going to be Cleveland, Orlando, Cleveland, and Orlando for the first quarter. All right, so Cleveland's going to get the ball. They're at home, and they're going to return this out to the 13. Remember, I use static special teams. And as bad as that is, that's the way it's going to be today for Cleveland against this A place kicker. Right? So he's booming it deep, and the average for the day would be 13, meaning if they returned it from the 1 or if he downs it, etc., they're not even going to get back to the 20, right? So Cleveland is really up against it with this place kicker, putting it in the corner, bouncing it down to him, whatever this place kicker is doing to make life miserable for this return man. All right, Cleveland. Again, I'm going to call the plays. Cleveland is going to, it's going to be fun to call the plays. So Cleveland has a passing attack of C, and we're going to start with a pass. I'm going to drop back and throw the ball. In my 1960s game, 63 is a completion. We're using the C chart on the completions. 53, I'm not calling defense. I will adjust in case it is, again, a predictable down situation. 53 is 5 and 3 is 8 plus 4, 12-yard pass. 10, 11, 12 out to the 25. First down for the Cleveland Bulldogs. All right, so Cleveland at least is out of the shadow of their own goalpost, and we're going to pass again. 34 is complete, so he drops back, completes it, and it's going to be 25. 25 is 7 plus 4, 11, 10, 11. Back-to-back completions for the passing. Remember, we know how good the quarterback is. However, today, against this defense, he's a C, so he's average. But this would be Bernie Kosar versus a very good defense, right? Because this is an A unit. So this would be, Bernie Kosar versus, I can't think of the Steelers, whatever, right? Whatever team had a brilliant passing linebacking unit. All right, but already Bernie Kosar, 12 and 11. Bam, bam, 2 first downs. All right, we're going to pass again. First down passing, keeping that defense off guard. Unfortunately, I rolled an incomplete pass, second down. All right, we're going to go ahead and run. We do have a point of attack bonus of 0, though. That's why I've been apt to not. We're going to go ahead and run, though, on 2nd and 10. Let's see if we can't get them. 12. Oh, no, bad run. There's nowhere. 3rd down. So we got to pass now. Let's go to our C chart. And let's throw the ball. And it's going to be 32. That's not good. Incomplete. 4th down. So Kosar, 2 for 4 on that drive. Not Kosar, but Cleveland quarterback. I can't think of Cleveland without thinking of Bernie Kosar. So they're going to have to punt. And now we know what their static punt is, 40. So very simple. 10, 20, 30, 40. That's all we care about is the net. So that would be a punt of 46, return back 6, whatever you want to see it as. It don't make no difference. And Orlando now with a chance to do something. And they're going to have to, I think they're going to probably want to pass more too, looking at the C charts. And we're going to start, they're going to come out and want to do the same, the breakers with a B quarterback. They're going to go ahead and pass. And that's going to be complete. Drops back, completes this pass. and it's going to be a completion for 11 yards, first down. So both quarterbacks on their first pass of the day on a standard base vanilla defense got an 11-yard strike, first down. We're going to go ahead and run on this down. Looking at the deep charts, 42. 42 is a 2-yard run, so not bad. 1-2. Again, they have, unfortunately, no point of attack. Oh, wait, -1. I forgot their point of attack's a negative. They lost the yard there. So, again, this is another reason why maybe this team wants to put the ball in there. We're going to pass. 2nd and 9. 45 is complete. And the completion is, unfortunately, for 5 plus 3, 8 yards. Not bad. We'll take 8 yards. And it is 8 yards. Yeah, it's going to be, we need 1, right? Because we got 1 rushing and then 8, right? 1, 2, oh no, 8. We got, 1 rushing and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 3rd and 1. And we're going to have to pass the ball. 3rd and 1, play action. Against this defense, they would be crowding the line of scrimmage. So here we go. 15, though, is going to be incomplete. So he drops back, and his man is not open. I'm assuming muddy ground. The receiver slips. His timing's off. The ball hits harmlessly to the muddy turf, and the Cleveland Bulldog defense gets the job done. They will have to punt. Their punt is 40, 10, 20, 30, 40. And again, Cleveland finds themselves inside their own 20 to start this drive. All right, Cleveland goes to work, and they're going to run. They are on the C chart, so why not? 46, let's see how that run goes for them. 46 is going to be a run for 7 yards, no bonus. So they're up to the 23, 2nd down. It's a good down to play action, but we're going to run again. 14, will they get the first? 14 is 1 yard, no, 3rd and 2. Now we're going to go ahead and run one more time, see if we can't get it. 15 is 2 yards, and they get it barely, but they do get it. So Cleveland's got 3 or 4 first downs already. They've had to punt, though. All right, we're going to put the ball in the air, and 53 is going to be complete on the C charts. Let's double check that. Yep, it is complete for 64. Nice. Going to be complete for 11 plus 4, 15 yards. 10 up to the 41, and the Bernie Kosar of our Cleveland Bulldogs. Of course, this is 1960, so that would have been, I don't think it was Milt Plum. 1960. O'Connell? No, I can't remember who it was in 60. Doesn't matter. In my head, when I see passing A. Right. All right, here we go. Again, I would have fictional players, so it wouldn't matter. I'm not playing the Cleveland Browns, but it's fun to think of it that way. All right, here we go. So what are they going to do? They're going to pass again. It's working. That's their best. It's their best trick. Incomplete. 2nd down. We're going to go ahead and run, try to get some yardage. 66 is a breakaway. 66 is a long gain. So they're going to get a breakaway from this A backfield. So again, we got a brilliant backfield. Breakaway A. And the breakaway's for 42 yards. Big run. 10, 20, 30, 41, 2. I do not attempt to limit breakaways by grade, because the grade is already limiting whether you can break a big gain or have a long pass. So the grade here is already limiting the chances, but the best you're going to have is 66 yards. So 11 to 66. You're not going to get a touchdown. You'll never get an easy touchdown in Parallax football. So the production in Parallax football is a little lower than you would expect, and you don't have you'll never have a 99-yard bomb, unless it's a Hail Mary play at the end of the game or something. All right, but Cleveland is in great shape. They're at the 17-yard line, and they're going to go ahead and run the ball here. It's working. 25. This is going to be a good run of 4 yards. Again, they don't have to sweat their point of attack being a problem. They're going to go ahead and run again, 2nd down and 62. 2nd down, 6-2 is 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is 3rd and 2. And now it's play action time. We're going to play action roll out against the goal line defense. See if we can't get a first down pass at least. 44 is going to be a rollout pass into the short button hook to the tight end. Is complete. And 14, did he get into the end zone with it? 14 is 2 plus 4, 6 yards and a first, down to the 3, 1st and goal. And we're going to play it safe here and run the ball. Let's hope we don't roll the fumble. So let's see if they can punch it in. 34. 34 is going to be a run for 3 yards and a touchdown. So Cleveland is going to get a halfback 3-yard run extra point for them. Unfortunately, their place kicker's a D, so I think we have to kick the extra point. So here's the only time we use the raw score is on place kicking. D, 1 to 5. So on a 6, he'll miss this PAT. Nope, it's good. All right, folks. Orlando gets to return this ball out to the 21 on their static returns. And this is the final drive of the first quarter. Orlando Breakers are kind of behind the 8 ball in the running game, so we're going to open it up and we're going to pass. Again, I'm not using defense. Defense is baked into the matchup, so our defense has already been accounted for here. So you can use defense for drastic situations or for head-to-head games, because you need that for head-to-head games. But the game is built that you do not need to. Technically, if you call defense after we've already adjusted the teams, you're technically double dipping defense, right? You're giving defense the double. So when people play this and they play it with defense, they're going to say, God, this game is, it's tough to move the ball. It's tough to score. Well, that's because technically if you call defense and you get it right, you're technically double dipping, right? Because the defense has already impacted the quality of Cleveland. So this defense, even though it's DAD, has already brought Cleveland down to a BCC, right? So it's already been accounted for in the actual blended competition of what's happening on the field between these teams. If I then add a defensive effect, I'm technically giving Orlando even a better defense, which is, I think, how it should be, right? If you call the perfect defense, you should affect the opponent, right? So for head-to-head play, adding defensive and offensive play calls is perfect. For automated, it's not something you have to do. But if you want the games to be really grueling grud matches, you'll go to do that. If not, you want the game to be a little more open as far as potential ball movement, then I would not use defense twice. Okay, so I think that makes sense. What did I call? I called a pass, didn't I? 56. Oh, it was, it's complete. Let's see for what. It's complete. Oh, nope, it's dropped. So the receiver, the ball hits him in the hands. He can't hold on. Second down, we got a pass. It's going to be 55's complete. And 35, good number. 11 plus 3, 14 in the first. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So Orlando's completed a few passes. We're going to keep the ball in the air. Pass again. 63 is going to be incomplete. No, wait, wrong chart. It's going to be 63 is complete. And it's complete for 43. 6 plus 3, 9 yards. So a little swing out to the halfback in the mud. And he gets it to the one. We're going to run the ball here. 43. On the D chart, but a -1 point of attack. So again, technically, right, if you add defense to this, you're really doubling up. 43. 43 is a 2, -1, 1 yard. He in the mud and muck, he churns his legs, falls forward, and they signal first down after the measurement. The crowd here in Cleveland doesn't like it, but Orlando does. We're going to go ahead and run again here on first down. It's going to be a decent run of 6 yards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Second down. Pass. 43 on the passing chart. I don't know, man. 4-3 is complete. Underneath and a little curl behind the linebackers. Wow, and it's going to be a nice one. 13 plus 3, 16 yards. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, down to the 33. Folks, it's 7-0, the final drive of the first quarter, and Orlando's threatening. We're going to pass again. Drops back. Deep drop. He's open. Deep down the middle of the field. For 23, he passed it down for 8, so he checks down underneath. He had a man open deep. He just checked it down to the halfback for 8, and it's second down. I designed the game. You might ask, why don't you just have a range of numbers, 11 to 6 is incomplete or whatever? I purposely designed it for visualization. So for those who are wondering, why didn't you just give the D66 ranges for interceptions, completions? Because when you roll the dice, I want you to see this as the field. So when I roll, let's say, on the A chart, that's a 23. It would be a dump down to the flat, left of the quarterback. So imagine the quarterback's going left or right on the field. That would be a dump down complete just outside the backfield. Maybe a screen or a swing pass to somebody, or maybe you would see that is a bubble screen to the wide receiver in modern football. Then we roll to see what the number is, and then we can imagine who that went to. or we can imagine that the bubble screen got tripped up or he broke free or whatever. So I purposely designed it so the charts give you a sense of where that ball was complete. So if I roll a 44, it's right in the middle of the field. It would be, like the tight end running a quick in or a button hook, and he's between the linebackers are here and the DBs are here, and he's in the hole, right? So the goal was to create the parallax view of what the quarterback might see, right? The fastest, the things closest to him are the fastest, they're in the way. But if we hit that hole, right, that's the depth. It's the depth between the slower secondary, the faster linebackers, the very fast, because of the parallax effect, right? What's closest to you appears faster than what's further away from you, right? But this is meant to give you a sense of the windows that are available. So an F quarterback, he's got a narrow window of opportunities, right? Okay. Anyway, that's that concept. It's not about who you're throwing to. It's about where you're throwing on the field, and then we can imagine from the results who it might have been catching the ball. All right, 2nd down and 2. We're going to run the ball. And the point of attack is going to hurt these guys, but we got to run once in a while. 44 is going to be 4, -1, 3 and a first. 1, 2, 3. So the Orlando back here in the mud, accustomed to playing on a soft, boggy field in the 1960s in Orlando, on a soft water table, right? The water table in Florida is pretty high, right? You don't have to dig deep to hit water in Florida. So you can imagine if it's wet at all, how soggy those old fields would have been back in the day without proper drainage in the 60s, etc. All right, so here we go. Orlando grinds out in the mud in Cleveland. Of course, we're in Cleveland, actually, but my remarks were that he's accustomed to running on a crappy field is the point I was making. All right, we're going to run again. Oh, not good. 31's going to be nothing, probably. Yep, he's going to lose a yard, actually. So, hammered in the backfield by the linebacker. Actually, this run stuff is pretty good. So, hammered in the backfield by that run stuff team. So, that would be your front 7. Ideally, your front 4 would be visualized in what's run stuff. So, that -1 would probably be a tackle for loss by one of the big men up front. 2nd down and 11, we got to put the ball in the air. 35 is going to be complete. And again, we look at the chart. 35, it's going to be down the sideline, right? So imagine that this is the field, right? And he passes down the sideline, probably to the split end, because if we are visualizing traditional X, Y, Z, right? If it was here, it would be X, again, I might be going halfback, fullback. I might be seeing tight end if it's shallow. So he's taking a shot down the left sideline to the split end. So I don't have to imagine, I don't have to put in here split end. I can imagine based on this, right? 33. 33 is a catch for 5 plus 3, 8 yards. Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I would see that completion on 8. Definitely a quick out route to the split end, right? So Orlando drops. Again, Orlando is going left to right. So I see that as the left sideline for the quarterback. He throws a quick strike out to the split end, and it is 2nd. And actually, they ran for a loss, didn't they? It's 3rd and 1, 2, 3. 3rd and 3, we're going to pass the ball. We have no choice. 23 is going to be incomplete. So again, this would be swinging it out, maybe over to the split end again, or maybe to the backfield, out of the backfield, and the ball, unfortunately, over the head of the halfback as he swings out of the backfield, trying to get cheap 3 yards. They're going to have to settle for a field goal. Their place kicker is brilliant. They're on the 15, and that is an automatic kick. So their place kicker is going to get them a 22-yard field goal. Place kicker, 22-yard field goal. Folks, first quarter's in the books. Orlando 3, Cleveland 7. We have got a hell of a game here, right? So now Cleveland gets the ball at the 13. Over the course of this game, I would think that kick return is really going to hurt Orlando. For those who know the analytics of football, in the book, The Hidden Game of Football, a point is worth 12 yards. So you can imagine not being able to be at the 20, right? They're always, in this particular game, they're always 7 yards shy of the 20. And you can imagine that means for them to score, their value is now about 14 to 15 yards per point. So for Cleveland to score, they got to get about 15 yards per point in this game. as opposed to the NFL average in its history is 12, right? So that'll give you an idea of what that means, what that kickoff average in this game means to Cleveland. They really got to be on their game, or they're going to have to get some turnovers, right? Okay, so again, I evaluate football differently than my peers. Most of my peers create statistic simulators that spit out reliable expectations of results. When I play two teams in Stratomatic, I have expectations I'm going to see Tom Brady's performance accurately represented. My games are football simulators that simulate contests between teams, right? I don't give a hoot about whether this represents the New England Patriots accurately. I do give a hoot that it represents football accurately, right? And it does so within a different abstracted mindset, right? I don't view football the same way everybody else does, although I use stats and I use analytics to create my engines, right? But I don't use the traditional yards per carry, maybe, for instance, right? I mean, I do, but you see my point. Okay, so I just do things a little differently than my peers who create statistical probabilities that are meant to spit out results of expected results, so to speak. Okay, so we're at the 13. Mine is meant in a way I conceive it like I would if I was a coach. So if this was my team and we were returning kicks out to the 13 as a coach, number one, I'd be barking at my damn special teams coach, why the hell can't we get out past the 20? And I would be thinking as a coach, how do I gain an advantage? Well, I'm going to have to get the ball out of my end zone, out of my territory quickly, because I'm going to need 14 yards per point in this game at this rate. Meanwhile, if I'm giving the ball up to Orlando around the 35 and 40, they're going to only need 10 yards per point. So if you're looking at what this means, consistently being held out to the 13 means they have to be more efficient to score. Right? They have to actually get more yardage to get points. Meanwhile, when they punt, Orlando getting the ball roughly here all day long, they can be less productive to get points. Now they still have to execute. They still have to they still have to run the ball. They still have to complete passes. But as a coach, you're thinking, what are we going to do to remedy this? Well, I got to be effective on offense. We got to get the ball out of our territory because we're making it easy on Orlando to get cheap points, and they've already got a field goal here. Okay. With that said, let's play football. All right. So once again, we got to get the ball out of our territory. So I'm thinking pass. So I'm thinking like a coach, not like an algorithm, right? I'm not thinking like, what do you do on 1st and 10 in 1960? Well, you run the ball, punt, right? No, I'm thinking like a coach. I got to get the ball out of my territory, and hopefully, with this A quarterback, we're going to get down the field, right? 43 is going to be a completion into the middle of the field, behind the line, kind of behind the line in front of the linebacker. So this might be a check route, Texas route to the fullback. For 25, 25 is 7 plus 4. It's going to be 11 yards. So it's a little check down to the fullback as he comes out on a Texas route behind the line in front of the backers, and then is able to split the two linebackers and pick up an extra 4 yards, first down for the fullback of the Cleveland Bulldogs. We're going to pass again. 12's a sack. So down goes, so they come after us and they get us for loss of 9. 2nd and 19. Now we're in deep trouble because once again I'm back to the 15, which is going to give Orlando, all they're going to need is about 10 yards per point, right? So we don't want that. We want at least the average 12. I'd love to put it back here and make it 17 yards per point. You see my point. Okay. But as it is 2nd and 19, and holy hell, we got to, we run pretty good. We can break away. So we're going to run. If I can roll a 66, we make up ground. Oh, fumble the ball away. Remember, my game, you can roll for recovery, but the basic rule of fumble means lost, fumble. We don't bother to track. In my game, I don't bother to track a fumble versus a fumble recovery, unless, of course, you're using the optional fumble return rules, which I'm not. So they fumble the ball, making it so per point, they're at the 15. So if they score a touchdown, do the math, right? 15 divided by 7 points, that's 2 yards per point. So we have literally just given Orlando the best possible situation. They only need 2 yards per point, right? NFL average in history, 12 yards per point. So we have just given them 6 times the advantage by turning it over there, right? Okay, so again, those who know football may or may not instinctually understand these things. They've heard it their whole life, how important turnovers are. They hear it their whole life, how important field position is. But they don't actually understand the math. They don't understand what that means to actual points, right? So I've just told you, all Orlando needs to get 7 points is 2 yards per point, right? Pretty. It's a different way of looking at it, so to speak. But that's going to hurt. They have fumbled the ball away. Orlando now, with basically 1 or 2 plays, can be up 10-7. So let's see what they do. We are going to pass here because we pass better than we run, and we want to take advantage of this mistake that the Cleveland Bulldogs have made for us. 35. 35 is a pass, again, into the corner of the end zone, right? If you're looking at this as the field, that's going to be into the corner of the end zone. 35. 35, we got to roll for the yardage. 32, so it's going to be a pass to the corner for 4 + 3, 7 yards. Nice. So again, a quick out down to the 8-yard line, 2nd down. We're going to pass again because we're greedy. 62. Oh, 62 is complete in the flat. So again, if we look at the chart, 62 is literally in the backfield. So he's going to drop back and swing it to the halfback. Probably catches this pass behind the line of scrimmage. What does the halfback do with it? 56, the halfback on 56 is going to trot into the end zone. 13 + 6 is 16. He only needed 8, so he trots into the end zone for a touchdown. It's going to be QB, 8-yard pass to the halfback, and we know that by the positioning on the chart that was caught basically at the line of scrimmage, right? And the PAT for this team is automatic, and Orlando has earned what's called a point off turnover. And again, it took us 2 plays to get that touchdown because of yards per point, right? And again, Cleveland, in this particular game, out to the 13, it's going to make a nightmare, right? So if you want to know what I mean by that, 100 yards divided by 13, 100 yards minus 13, it's 87. Divided by 7. We need 12.4 yards per point from here. So at the 20, what would we need? 80 divided by 7, we would need 11.4. So if we could just get to the 20, we need 1 yard less per point. Where we're at right now is the NFL average of 12. And I have a feeling yards per point in the NFL is worse in modern football than it's ever been, because modern football, every play happens around the line of scrimmage. So you end up with a lot more yards, but you're not getting a ton more points. So it's probably still around 12, actually, if I think about it. But okay, so right there we know that for Cleveland to score 7 points, they got to average 12 yards per point, right? From this location. All right, Cleveland, here we go. Final possession of them in the 2nd quarter. See what they do. We're going to put the ball in the air because we got to start making up ground, and we're going to get an incomplete pass. He drops back. He's starting to get nervous. Incomplete. He's going to pass again. 24 is going to be complete, though, down the sideline. Complete for 34. This ought to be a decent pass for 7 + 4, 11 and a first. So he finds his flanker out on the right side of the field, out at 11-yard out route at the sticks. 1st down. We're going to run the ball. 41 on the C chart is going to be a run for 1, so not ideal. We're going to go ahead and pass. 2nd and 9. 24, I think this is going to be incomplete. 24 is complete. Literally, again, the flanker on the right sideline. Oh, 21, those a drop, so the flanker gets a hand on it, tiptoeing at the sideline, bobbles the ball out of bounds. They wave it incomplete. He's arguing he got both feet down. They're waving, no, you were bobbling it. So incomplete. 3rd down and 9, they got to pass. 32 drops back, looks, fires into the flat, incomplete. 4th down, they'll have to punt. Punt's 40, 10, 20, 30, 40. So we're at the 35. So 65 divided by 7. We need they need 9.3 yards per point, right? So what is the advantage of field position? This is why I say for those who don't know, why don't teams just go for it all the time? Because field position is huge, right? Remember, if you don't get it, you've given the other team an advantage, even if you don't think so, right? Even if you in your thinking that, hey man, if we can just turn every fourth down into a first, we keep the ball, we have advantage. But if you don't, you give a direct advantage to the enemy, and they're already up 10-7. So we'll see if Orlando on the final drive of the quarter can turn it into something. They're going to pass. 24 is complete. Man, down that left sideline, 13. 13 is complete for 2 plus 3, 5 yards. So again, out of the backfield, probably the tight end running a little waggle to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a little waggle for the tight end on the strong left. We're going to run the ball. They don't need to be running because they stink at it. 20 is 1, -1 is nowhere. 3rd down and 5. Got to put the ball in the air and get the first down, keep the drive alive. 31 is in. Nope, sack. Down he goes. Loss of 8. Huge sack. Down to the 32. 4th down. And again, they will punt. And that'll move the ball 40, 10, 20, 30, 40. But that's where it ends as the gun sounds. We got an 8-yard pass by Orlando following a turnover. It is 10-7. And Cleveland losing at home. All right, 3rd quarter. Orlando gets the ball first, and they have a 21-yard return. So they're right at the NFL average of 12 yards per point at the 21. Right? Okay. So here we go. Let's see what Orlando could do. We're going to go ahead and run the ball. They got to try to way to avoid turnovers. -1, so they try to carry it in the muddy muck and they lose a yard. They're going to try to run again. 64, nice carry. Nice carry for them. 64 is 5 -1 is 4 yards. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3rd down and 7. They got to pass it. 25 might be a completion. It is completed down the left sideline. Again, they're liking that split end matchup. But he's going to drop the ball. Folks, that's 2 drop passes for the split end on this down the sideline. Probably been a first down catch, too. They will have to punt. So we're in another dogfight, 10, 20, 30, 40. And again, at the 36, Cleveland only needs 9 yards per point. Right? So, pretty good. Field position. All right, Cleveland wants to make up ground. They're going to run on the C chart. Again, no reason not to. As they run, they have no point of attack, negative adjustment. Should be running more with them, but 1 yard. That's why we're not. Second, we're going to run again. 52, we're going to get 3. 1, 2, 3. 3rd down and long. We got to pass. 46 is completed down the middle of the field to the tight end. Completed for 43. That's going to be 6 plus 4 is 10 and a first at the 50. So Cleveland, run, tight end in the middle of the field. Beautiful. We're going to run again. 62 is not going to be great, but it'll be good enough. 4 yards, 1, 2, 3, 4, down to the 46. We're going to run again. 43 is another 2 yards, 1, 2. 3rd down, we got to put the ball in the air. 32, 3-2 is incomplete. 4th down, they're going to punt, pinning them at the 4. Coffin corner punt, Cleveland. CC punt, pinning Orlando at the 4. 96 divided by 7 points. Orlando needs 14 yards per point. So, it's a big deal. It may not sound like it, but boy, if your yards per play are 5, it's a big deal, right? And most offenses' yards per point in pro football today are about 5. Back then, in the 60s, it's probably about 4.7 or so. Back in the day. Especially in the 60s and 70s when they were running so much. Okay, wow. Unbelievable. 4. Okay, so here we go. Orlando wants to be careful. We're going to run the ball. 36. 36. 3-6 is 5. -1 is 4. Great carry for them. And again, with a point of attack of -1, it's dangerous to run. We're going to run again now. 54, looking good. They're executing. 4 more yards. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a team determined right here. And again, do we put the ball in the air on 3rd and 2? With a -1 point of attack. Yep, I'm going to risk it with my B quarterback. Using the C charts, it's going to be 62. 62 is complete. Oh, out of the backfield. Again, visualizing, right? In the flat. That's literally going to be a pass on a swing to the halfback on the right, in the right flat. Halfback catches the pass. 51, and he goes for 3 in the first down. 1, 2, 3. That's the perfect pass, right? They're lined up close to the line of scrimmage. It's a quick drop, and we swing it out to the halfback almost like a pitch. He catches it ahead of him, and then lowers his head, spins around a tackler, picks up 3, first down. Might even stepped out of bounds there. First down. Orlando started this drive at their own 4. Let's see what they do. Okay, we're going to pass. 63 is complete into the flat, a little past the flat. So this is probably the right side flanker, about 6 or 7 yards downfield. And 12. Oh, he drops it. Man, Orlando's dropped 3 passes today. Damn. Inefficient. We're going to pass again. We have no choice. They don't run well enough. 46. 46 is a completion. This would be looking deep down the left hash mark, inside the left hash mark. 46. 46, though, is 12 plus 3, 15 yards inside the hash mark. So this would have been like a little hook, deep hook, or a comeback. Probably a comeback. Runs for 30 or 20, comes back 5, 10, and 5 up to the 30 on a comeback route inside the hash mark on the left side. Here we go. Running the ball, by the way, on the C chart, because they do run pretty well. Or actually, they don't run well. 23. 23 is 1 minus 1, nowhere, second down. Back to the air. That's the only way they've had any success. 33 is complete. This is a drag route coming underneath the left tackle. Drag route 46. 46 is 12 plus 3, 15 more. So he catches a drag, turns it into a nice game. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, up to the 45-yard line. So that would have been a drag as he's coming across the field, catches it just this side of the left tackle, and then turns it upfield. Absolutely beautiful. Breakers looking good. We're going to run. 46, they're running well if we mix it up. 46 is 6 minus 1 is 5. They will take 5 yards a carry every time, especially when they're having to get out of their own backfield. We're going to run again. 45, they are executing beautifully. 4 minus 1 is 3. 1, 2, 3. It's 3rd and 2. We will not risk the negative 1 point of attack. We're going to pass. 56 is complete. Again, we can look on the chart. 56 would be inside of the hash mark, deeper down the field. So on the right hash mark, inside. 26 is a catch for 8 plus 3, 11 yards. Again, probably a quick turn in at 11, first down for the flanker or the tight end. You can see that as a tight end play. All right, we're going to run. 63, not good. This is not going to get much. 6-3 is going to be 3 yards. We'll take 3. 1, 2, 3. Orlando, man, make it a 96-yard drive, folks. We're going to run again. 55, it's going to be 4 yards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Man, they're starting to run as well as they're passing. Cleveland in a back pedal, for crying out loud. We're going to pass, though, for the first here. And I did drop a die on the floor for those who count. It is not an official video unless I'm dropping dice at least once. 54 drops back complete, so we can look at the chart. 54, it's going to be right smack midway, middle of the field. That's a tight end play for sure. What does the tight end do with this? 51. 51 is 3 plus 3, 6, and a first down for the tight end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So a quick turn in or look in for the tight end, baby. Again, if I'm looking at this as the field, I can imagine who must be the target in these places, right? You don't have to, but you can. All right, here we go. First down. It's going to be a run for 2-1. Not good. That's going to be a loss, I think. Yep, they're going to lose a yard. 2nd and 11. Remember, this field goal kicker is really good, so what we don't want to do is get knocked out of field goal range because he can almost guarantee to give them more points. So we are going to be careful, and we are going to go ahead and run here. Nope, going to lose a yard. Damn, so now we're backing up. We have no choice on 3rd down. We've got to pass, try to keep competitive. In Cleveland, it's going to be complete. This would be middle of the field, tight end. Oh, it's a long gain for the tight end, so he catches it on a seam route, and he goes 51 yards. It's a touchdown, 20. So it's going to be QB, 26-yard pass to the tight end. Extra point is automatic. Cleveland now in deep trouble as they have given up another touchdown. They return the kick out to the 13. And the Cleveland Bulldogs, who have a fantastic offense, But when blended with the quality of this defense, especially the linebackers, we're seeing what's happening. And this field position has hurt them. That turnover is what really killed them because it gave Orlando a 2 yards per point advantage. So 2 plays, they're in the end zone, right? And also, they have an automatic place kicker at that range. So if they turn it over here, it's an automatic 3 points for Orlando. So you can see how dangerous Cleveland's situation is with an F return man. So if you're like, how do you fix that? Well, your goal when you build your teams is to say, how important is the return man? Well, if you'd rather have an A offense, that's fine, but you're going to maybe pay the price. If you think special teams is important, then you better give that return man a grade, right? It's trying to. I also hope my games teach people how to think about football differently, right? How to conceptualize what's really going on in the long form football game, right? You know, from game to game, from week to week, through the season, how does that return man affect Cleveland? It's going to be nasty for Cleveland, right? So, here we go. But it's also going to be nasty for Orlando. They just happen to be facing a bad place kicker. So Orlando gets a kick, right? All right, here we go. We got to put the ball in the air. No doubt now. Late in the third. This is the final drive of the third. 26 is complete. Yep, it is complete in the flat. This would be the fullback. Fullback catches it for 25, 7 plus 4, 11 yards. So the fullback catches it, lowers his head, rumbles down the sideline, knocks a couple of guys off their feet, steps out of bounds. They're going to pass again. 54, right in the middle of the field to the tight end. What's it going to look like? 42. It's going to be a quick button hook to the tight end for 9. Almost gets a first down. 2nd and 1. They're going to pass again. Play action. Drops back. Looks deep down the left sideline. Incomplete. 3rd and 1. They got to run here. They have no choice. They got to get the first. So let's run the ball. Fullback's going to get the carry. 52's 3 and a first. 1, 2, 3. So they play their cards right. They go ahead and take the easy run. Back to the air. Here we go. Cleveland drops back, sets up, looks, fires into the flat. Incomplete. Not good. 2nd down. We're going to pass again. Cleveland drops back, looks down the right sideline to the flanker. What does he do with it? He's going to catch this and turn up field for 9. It is 3rd and 1 again. They're going to run the ball here. 3rd down. They bring out the big package. The defense goes into a run deep. Let's see if they can get it. 52. It's going to be 3 yards and a first. 1, 2, 3. Cleveland having the biggest drive of the game for them. It's kind of paramount as they are behind by, I think, 13. I haven't done the math. It is the crowd is roaring, and Cleveland with their best drive of the game at their own 48. They're going to run again. Wow, 65 is going to be 6. Oh, I was hoping it was a bigger play than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the 46 of Orlando. The crowd roars. We're going to put the ball in the air. 36. This is going to be down the inside right hash mark. No, left hash mark. 36. Yep, it's deep. Deep down the left sideline to the split in. Or excuse me, right sideline to the split in. 26. It's going to be a completion for 8 plus 4, 12 yards. 10, 11, 12. They're down to the 34. The crowd roars as Cleveland is put together a beautiful drive from the 13. They snap the ball. 41 is going to be incomplete. Looking for the tight end. Nobody home. 2nd down. It's going to be a long, or no, excuse me, it's complete. Complete here would be long again down the right sideline. Right, going this way, long down the right sideline. But let's see what it amounts to as far as actual yardage. 15. So it might be a comeback or so. 15 is 4 plus 4, 8 yard little comeback for 8. 3rd down. They're going to go ahead and run the ball here to try to get the first. 65 is brilliant. 6 yards and a first down to the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 at the 20. The Cleveland fans on their feet. They're going to pass the ball here. It's complete to the tight end. Oh, and he fumbled it. No, he dropped it. Lucky it wasn't a fumble. It's a catch and a drop. So he tight end in the middle of the field, has his hands on it, drops it. 2nd down. We're going to pass again. 31, uh-oh, not good. 31 is a sack. No, that's the last thing they needed with a D place kicker. They're going to lose 6 yards. 3rd and long, they have to put the ball in the air. 22 is incomplete. He goes for the end zone. Nobody there. They got to get points. Their place kicker's a D from the 26. 1 to 3, 50% chance that this place kicker makes it? Yes, he does. Fortunately, the place kicker hits a 33-yard field goal. And folks, Orlando scored 7. Cleveland scored 3. It is 17-10, folks. It's a hell of a game, baby. 1960s football. We got a game out to the 21 for Orlando. Every single possession for Orlando becomes paramount now because they, in the fourth quarter, they get the ball first. Cleveland's going to get the ball dead last, so Orlando has to make the most of every possession, as Cleveland will have the ball last, only down by a touchdown. We're going to pass the ball. They cannot afford to run here. They got to be aggressive. Incomplete. Down the sideline, left sideline, incomplete. It's going to be complete down the right sideline to the flanker. It's complete for 10 yards and a first, so it's going to be a little in route, a little slant route. First down. We're going to run on the D chart, 46. It's going to be a decent run. It's going to be 6 minus 1, 5 yards. They will take that second down. I think my camera's going to make it to the end of this game. Probably not, though, folks. It may die. Here we go. We're going to pass. 21. No, it's going to be a sack. No, 21. Oh, picked off. Holy cow. They have a linebacker C. The interception, they need a 1. Yep, 20 yards back. 10, 20 down to the 16. They get the turnover they needed from Orlando. Quarterback intercepted by the linebackers. The linebackers on the C chart return it back 20 yards. Cleveland, 16 divided by 7. They are at 2.2 yards per point. So it's a chance for them to equalize the turnover that Orlando had earlier. Orlando got that fumble. They were in the end zone in 2 plays. Cleveland's picked it off, returned it back. And this will tie the game. So we're talking about competition. We're talking about 2 teams with interesting matchups have created a pretty tight-looking game here. It's created based on execution. This turnover is going to give the hometown fans a reason to cheer, as I have a feeling in a couple of plays they're going to be standing in the end zone, and we're going to have a tie ball game in the fourth, and my camera will die, and we won't get to see the end. It is 54. It is complete. Drops back. He's looking to score right here. It's going to be 9 yards down to the 7. 2nd and 1. They're going to run on the C charts because they can. 43. 43 is a 2-yard carry and a first down. It's 1st and goal from the 5. And now they can pound it in. We're going to run again. 46. 46 is 7 yards. Touchdown. So we're going to have the halfback on a 5-yard run. 5-yard run. Extra point, though, is not guaranteed by this D place kicker. So Cleveland has gambled their entire season on bad special teams. And here's an example. They can miss it on a 6. Nope, they got it. PAT. Folks, it's tied. 17-17. Orlando has 1 drive left. Remember I said Orlando has to be smart because Cleveland has the ball last. Well, guess what? Orlando turned it over. Now they're in trouble. Orlando has to get points out of this drive to put pressure on Cleveland. So we're going to have to pass the ball. It's going to be 46 is complete down the right sideline to the tight end. 53 is complete for 11 and a first. Nice. To the tight end, a little out route. 65 is complete. Man, if they could just break one. 65, 15 plus 18 yards, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, up to the 50-yard line. First down. The Cleveland fans in full throat, on their feet, cannot believe it. There's a chance to win this game. Let's hope my camera doesn't die. Cleveland needs points. They're going to pass. Orlando wants to score. 52 is complete out of the flat to the halfback. He catches it on a swing route and goes for 5 plus 3, 8 yards. So the halfback catch and run for 8. We're going to run this time. Oh, shouldn't have done that. See, I just screwed him. 31 is loss of 1. 3rd down and long. We got to pass. 3rd and 3. 12 sack. Down he goes. The Cleveland fans jump to their feet. It's a 6-yard loss. 4th down and long. They have to score to put pressure on Cleveland. They're going to go for it. They're going to pass. Cleveland fans can't believe it. He drops back. He's under pressure. He flings it out on a check down to the halfback. Ball hits in the mud at his feet. The crowd roars as it's incomplete. Turnover on downs. Cleveland gets the ball at the 49 with a chance to be heroes. They will have come back to win this in the fourth. And let's hope I can finish it before the camera dies. I can't believe it. They will run. It's a nice run. 36. It's going to be a great carry. 36 is 4 yards. 1, 2, 3, 4. The crowd roars. They calm down. Snap it and run again. 63 is a run for 5 more. 3rd and 1. Play action bomb. Nope, we're going to run the ball. 31. Nowhere. 4th down. You got to be kidding me. That would have been a sack if they had passed. So thank God I didn't put the ball in the air. 4th and 1. They have no choice. They're going to run the ball. And 24, do they get it? 24 is 2 yards. They do. 1, 2 the hard way. The crowd roars. Unfortunately, they can win this game with anything. It's tied. They have a horrible place kicker, so this ain't good enough. The 40. They got to get down the field. They're going to pass. 66 is a pass completed. Long down the, that would be the left sideline. Right sideline. And 51, it's going to be a catch for 3 plus 4, 7 yards. So down to the 33 on the left sideline. 1st down. They're going to run. 24. Can they win this game? 24 is a run for 2. 1, 2. 3rd and 1. You know what? I ran last time. We're going to go play action bomb. 23. Oh, no. 23 is incomplete to the fullback out of the backfield. 4th down. They got to go. 31. Can they make it with a D kicker? On a 1 or a 2, they can win the game. Do we go for it or do we kick the kick? 1 or a 2, they make it and they'll win 20-17. Or I go for it on 4th and 1. We're going for it. We had a better chance of getting the 1st down running than we do kicking the field goal. My camera may die, but we're running the ball. 44 is a great carry. He finds blocks. He gets 4 in a first. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1st down. We're going to run again. 35. 35 is another 3 yards. 1, 2, 3. It turns out Cleveland's point of attack has been the difference in this game. They're going to run again. 34. 34, 3 yards. 1, 2, 3. 3rd down and 1, 2, 3, 4. 3rd and 4. They're going to pass. 35 is a catch. It's going to be a turn-in for the tight end inside the hash mark. And he's going to catch this for 14 yards. 10 down to the 7. 1st and goal. The crowd in Cleveland on their feet as Cleveland's put together a beautiful drive. They're going to run. 33. Cleveland hands the ball off to the fullback. Punches down for 3. 2nd down and 3. They're going to go for it. Running, 22. It's going to be a 1 yard, 3rd down and goal from the 3. Do we put the ball in the air? Yes, we do. With an A-rated quarterback touchdown. It's going to be caught in the end zone unless he drops it. It's going to be caught in the end zone for 34. And that's going to be a catch for 7 plus 4, 11. It's a touchdown, baby. Quarterback, 3-yard pass to the tight end. Extra point is good. And that's it. This game is over. 8-14-26. A complete Parallax football experience. We created teams. We played out a full game. Orlando is picked off and turns over on downs. Cleveland scores 14 points. Folks, Cleveland with a brilliant fourth quarter comeback. 17-24. Orlando 0-1. Cleveland 1-0. That is Parallax Football Complete. Same as the free ebook that's on the channel. The actual book itself has other stuff in it that is not in the free version. Thanks for watching. This has been a long video, I know, but what a great example of the design conceits, what goes through my head as a game designer, why I create the games the way I make them, why I use matchups as opposed to compartmentalizing games and trusting random die rolls to give the defense a chance. I've said this before in a private conversation. I'll say it, I guess, out loud here. Games that use a random die roll to either dictate whether it's the offensive side or the defensive side is fantastic for controlling output, but and it allows you to control quality of expected results, especially for historical replays. So those are good things. We want those things, but they're not competitions, right? This is all about matchups for competition. I want to see two things duke it out, right? So, all right, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.